Guys, it's time to hop in here to the first map of this best of 5 series. We're taking a look at the weapon setups for either team. Didn't really see anything interesting as far as the rig draft was concerned, but it looks like we're going to hop in this one. So going to hop on board here with Assault's perspective here off the start, looking here over toward that bike street. Just trying to be aware of those players over on side Lemon. He's going to get a few kills off the break, finds one, finds the second, nearly finds the third as well, but it seems that E6 will have a good amount of control over toward that middle map. Now when it comes into the first hill for most of these maps, it's going to be a lot of spotty time, a lot of tightly congested time, but a major portion of really everyone's focus is going to be on that second hill over inside of Barn. It looks like it will be Cloud9 currently in possession of those spawns. You see, not a lot of time really going down to either side. That will quickly start to change. Aches currently still lingering through this middle map. 18 seconds left here over on this train platform. Nice start here for Proto. 4-1. I've actually been casting over Proto for a very long time. Proto, whenever he was actually underage back in Advanced Warfare, played for a number of different squads. He was a major duo actually with Holler, who I believe is a current player for Lethal Gaming. I know he's been kind of going back from roster to roster. Recently played with Insomnia as well. So this guy's kind of been on the grind for a long time, and I know since E6 doesn't have their full squad due to age restrictions, it's always good to see that there are grabbing, aspiring young players. So, with that in mind, of course, you can take a look at the scoreboard up to this point. E6 having a pretty easy run up to this point. Of course, it is only the first 2 hills, and you can't really take a whole lot from that. But an early 20-point lead, currently holding down contention inside of Barn. This could be kind of, in some ways, considered the money hill for this map. They're definitely making all their worst for it. Player number 7 in the back, Ricky, ends up falling. It looks like Pat, Aches, ends up dropping, at least for the last player alive. Really has to try to contest as much time as possible. They're not really getting any breaks. They're not having any opportunities to really rush in. It looks like from the side, Aches, maybe a last-second congestion here. 52-8 as he also falls. E6 off to a hot start, it seems, as they're going to be around the 70-80, or excuse me, 70-8 mark already in this game. With a last-second congestion, it looks like it will be Aches who wins that gunfight, but quickly gets traded in the end. So, with that in mind, rotations now, getting ready to come over toward that bike path. See Scarabs out, Ricky with those pre-nades, just trying to be aware of where those E6 players are. Not finding anyone as of yet. Shots still coming to continue, and you can see that just a matter of kills that E6 is getting a quick succession is the reason why they're up so far in this game. And Ricky trying to make any mark he possibly can on the game. It's not going to go anywhere for him for now. Looks like a big gunfight going down over toward middle, and it is going to go in favor of, I believe, Aches for a time. He quickly gets traded. Cade and the boys from E6 continuing to do some damage, and 3 go down again. Now make it 4 for a time. The Scarab will make a little bit of noise, and the nade will as well, as Proto finds one over on Cade. But in the end, time still going over to the side of E6. Cloud9 not really having a whole lot of answers. If you look at the scorecard off to the right, you see Aches currently sitting at 4-11. Lacefield at 5-7, 6-10 for Ricky. Only player is positive right now. It's going to be Assault at 9-8. Looks like a little bit of a slang deficit so far up into this game. So it looks like Proto, the hot man here so far. You're going to also tip your hat to Cade as well. 9-4, killing 34 seconds of hill time. Trying to break into this setup that Cloud9 desperately needs to hold. Player number 5 toward the back, that is going to be Aches. Needs to try to hold this one down. Player in front of him, can he win the gunfight? A little bit of sporadic movement there in the end, but can't find it. It seems that contention will be awarded to Assault. Cloud9 trying to breathe any signs of life at the moment. General toward the back ends up dropping. So it looks like Cloud9 finally getting some spotty time, finally able to kind of get rid of that vice grip that E6 has had on them so far throughout this entire game. Good wins and good kills there for Lacefield. As Cloud9 now start to bring it back. Scarab out as well. When we talk about Scarabs, actually, for this matchup, I think E6 and teams like Panda as well have kind of rejuvenated like the Scarab use in Infinite Warfare. There was actually a time where players weren't even using their Scarabs. So they'd have like, they would earn maybe 2 or 3 Scarabs throughout an entire Hardpoint game, and they wouldn't even use them. And I think teams like E6, actually, funny enough, who they're versing against, did a very good job at kind of utilizing those, kind of breaking them out of hills, and it also kind of provides you a little bit of like slower movement once you get hit by it. So it's honestly, well, not like, may not always get you the kill in the end. At least it is able to slow down some enemy fire and can maybe grant you a few more seconds. But of course, if you take a look here at the gameplay yet again, you can see that Cloud9 have started to bring it back. They've had some good moments here and there, and obviously got a lot of time over it toward that back bowling hill. General in a big power position at the moment over toward that bike street, needs to back up, and he will trade his life in the end. Cade winning a gunfight there over on Assault. Needs to find one. Can he find the second? Nearly double melee, but it's not going to go through. And that rotation on everyone's mind at the moment. It will be currently in possession, I believe, of the E6 side. And at this point, they're really not worried about losing that time. They're really just worried about making sure they have spawns yet again for this hill, because what happened in the last set of rotations, E6 got so much time, and this honestly gave them so much momentum moving forward. And had it not been for a few clutch plays, Cloud9 wouldn't have had an opportunity, really, to bring this one back. We see Assault, the first player of the game to have earned his payload. FTL jump, of course, one of the fastest ones to earn. See if he can maybe use this to break inside, but 2 players drop for E6. Cade's still trying to hold down some time from the middle. So one drops from the corner, tries to find the second one, but Assault yet again starts to go on a spree. Looks like you see from 4, 1, and 3. Overall, a combined total of 8 kills in a row earned. That's some basic math for the side of Cloud9. So starting to get a little bit of momentum here. We'll see if they can maybe shift that into a potential lead change. Assault finds one, can't find the second. General's trying to enter in. Not having a really good moment toward these last few seconds. These last few hills, really. Aches still congesting. Nice job there. Finds one, finds the second. Aches, with that 2-piece, is now going to grant Cloud9 the lead. What seemed like a great start from Enigma 6 has turned into Cloud9's a little bit of advantage, as they're not going to be on that rotation. E6 smartly does not decide to contest those last few seconds. Has decided to focus their eyes over toward this bike path hill yet again. General with an MV4 up top can be so lethal when he's in a position like this, and that's exactly why some team fire from that side is going to grant him those few kills. They're going to realize now that General has checked that position, where the spawns are coming from. Player going to be toward backbone. That is going to be player number 8. Quickly gets shut down. MV4 versus MV4. Seeing that General will win this one. Trying to continue to go on a spree. Finds another potentially. But will finally be ended. And with that really number of different kills in a row, that's going to grant E6 a lot of free time. What General was trying to do is, while he was on that wall run like crazy, he was just trying to grant his teammates in the hill an easier time. They weren't having to worry about any gunfights. Now, since they've gained so much free time, they also have a lot of payloads to work with now. But Ricky, currently speaking of payloads, getting very close to his, having a pretty good game up to this point, going to be the main support objective player for the Cloud9 team. Currently with 54 seconds inside of the hill. On the other end, Proto, most time in the entire game, rather, as he has earned that active camo. We'll see if they need it for a break, but no, they're going to break that one pretty easily. And Ruiz getting that side blue spawn. Trying to watch out these players toward field. That's a big kill he gets on Assault. Team kill, I believe. Ends up coming through, but it won't matter. Cloud9 going to have to rely on 2 players to try to break this one. And it seems that they will wait for the moment. At least with getting a little bit too aggressive, in my opinion. Ends up getting shut down. 3 versus 3 for the hill. 30 seconds remaining in this hill. A lot of important time remaining. Lacefield still coming from that field side. As E6 get closer and closer to that 200-point mark. Some shots being exchanged toward that back statue side. Lacefield really just needs to regen health. And if he had that reactive armor, granted, he'd probably use it right now. But as time starts to trickle away, Cade still trying to hold strong. Sees a few players in his midst. And team fights will continue on. Lacefield will be the end of that. Unfortunately, Ricky will pay with his life, but I'm sure that the time will be worth it. And after the second side of rotations, it will be a 45-point advantage toward the side of E6. Major players we're looking at so far have definitely been General's MV4 play, as well as Cade's overall consistency. And I think one player who really kind of goes unnoticed is a guy like Cade. You know, when we talk about the E6 roster, we talk about the main Slayers in General and M. Ruiz a lot of the time. You know, Proto's going to be that kind of main guy in your face quite a bit, but Cade kind of goes unnoticed. He's a guy who's going to constantly kind of get in the hill, kind of always has his hand dipped in the objective or really just the overall slaying category, and I think he's the reason why they have so much success in a lot of their matches. The reason why they've had a lot of success in this 2K overall has been to the team play of all 4 of these guys. But you see 3 go down yet again for Cloud9. Continuous struggles when it comes down to this middle map. E6 have done a great job at getting in that second hill over on Barn, the last 2 hill rotations. But where can Cloud9 dig from? How can they get a little bit more of an advantage? Well, this is going to come from the push from Assault. Needs to win both of these gunfights. Can't even find one. There's no player to trade those. And Ricky's left kind of waiting for his teammates to try to break that one while he's getting the scrap time. Lacefield kind of ends up wasting that reactive armor in the end because he isn't able to get much spawn control from it. Aches and the boys from Cloud9. A potential last-second opportunity if they want to even get close to bringing this one back. They're going to have to make that push through the side. Near 2-piece there coming in from Lacefield, but it's not going to go through, and Proto will remain in a pretty stable position. Looks like one player toward that side is going to be M. Ruiz, trying to hold off the push from field. Finding 2 is the side of E6, making a third one. Double for M. Ruiz, and it looks like there's going to be a few players with those payloads as well. This game is looking more and more grim if you're a Cloud9 fan. Most of you probably are because you're on Aches stream. However, though, it looks like it will be Map number 1 in the books. A valiant effort from the side of Cloud9, but in the end, it was a strong overall play from E6. You see, in the end, the final scorecard will be 2 minutes and 32 seconds, actually, for Proto. Just noticed that. But 250 to 165. E6 now going to go up 1-0. You look a pretty consistent play overall. 32 and 27, though, for General. But I was really looking at that overall hill time there for Proto. 2 minutes and 32 seconds in the hill. 6 defends, and an overall positive 3. Side of Cloud9 really just couldn't adjust. And I feel like a lot of the time in those money hills over in Barn, we're always going E6's way. So major props to them. They've looked very, very solid in all of their matches up to this point. There's like from Panda, I believe Profizi was very, very good at using that. So we'll see how that ends up working out. Like I said, Man-at-Arms for General. Lacefield going with the Shockwave. Game number 3 underway. We'll see if Cloud9 can potentially bring it back, or will E6 close down in a 3-0 fashion. Taking a look at a lot of the chat so far, your guys' thoughts. Saying that players like Ricky need to kind of bring it back. Cloud9 have looked really solid in Uplink up to this point, according to what the chat is thinking. But there's got to be some E6 fans here as well who love to have them close this out in a 3-0, but 3 down already. Cade in the back trying to fire some shots early on. It looks like it will be Aches with the drone in hand for the time being. Big players we're looking out for as far as a payload is considered are your active camo and your overdrive players. Cade going to early toss. Can he mark it through just in time? He will be able to knock that one in. So an early score, minute just ticking off the clock. As the one will go through, and Ruiz, the voice from E6 trying to make another push happen. Proto still has that drone in hand, and he could go for another 1-point toss, but no one going to be home. General needs to back up and realize this push is most likely not going to happen for him anymore. Pulls out the Scarab, and he'll trade that one with his life in the end. So, despite a good start here from the Cloud9 side, 3 go down yet again as E6 continue to push out that back statue point. And Proto could have another opportunity for the 1-point toss, and that will also go through an already 1 possession advantage for the E6 side. 3 go down yet again for E6. Continuous team breaks. And this could be a great 1-point toss. The Proto can get it through, but it's going to automatically reset. It's a very difficult toss to actually get off. I believe it's only a little bit of an angle that you have to hit perfectly, a perfect jump that you have to hit in order to get that one through. And I know I was actually, early on, I was spectating a little bit of people throughout the 2Ks, kind of like players warming up, and I think Attach was working heavily on the 1-point toss. So that one has kind of been released kind of out there. Players have definitely been trying to practice that one quite a bit because it's a very difficult toss to stop, especially from how far it comes up. But it's not an easy one to hit. You can obviously see why Proto with a nice backward slide is going to have some cover provided. And thankfully to the cover shots coming from his teammates, the lead blockers, that one's going to go through yet again. An early 3-0 advantage to the E6 side. Cloud9 not really having a whole lot of opportunities. They haven't really even made that drone past that 50-yard mark. Lacefield ends up falling. Proto narrowly escapes with that drone. He needs to go for the ball swipe, but he's not able to make it happen. Assault will go ahead and grab that one. And this should be a 2-point play, but there's one player just behind him, and he's nearly able to knock it through. So what seemed like a fantastic start from the E6 side, the amount of map control that they had, is quickly down and brought to a 1-point game after that dunk comes in. General firing some shots off to the side, ends up dropping. And that drone is left ready and waiting for whoever wants to fire that one through the portal yet again. And Louise up top, statue ends up falling there as well. Less than 2 minutes remain in the first half. Base God Lace. It's going to throw that one down over toward Orange. Or L, whatever you want to call it. I think everyone has callouts really for just about everything. At least 2 or 3 callouts for every single point of the map. This is a major point in the game. If you can maybe trade a few of these kills, Lacefield ends up dropping 2, but 4 go down for Cloud9. In general, has to wait for that drone to spawn up. Just through that waiting, that is going to allow Cloud9 to spawn back up. So a few seconds that really decided the entire game. Lacefield finding 2 to stop that push from happening. All make at least a delayed point toss for the E6 side. And Ruiz trying to go through no man's land. As 3 do drop Cade and the last man alive. The drone gets tossed off the map regardless. And granted, thank God they did that, because if not, Cade would have easily gotten that 1-point toss forward after getting those very difficult 2 kills. And now with that, after finding those 2. They're going to try to make this push happen again. Proto is there, and can he fire this one through? Yes, just narrowly gets over the head of the Cloud9 player. So a great play overall from, I believe that was Cade, who was able to stay alive, won those 2 big gunfights, and didn't rush forward. He realized he didn't have to rush forward. He waited for his teammates to kind of reset back up. And so one drone attempt doesn't work, but they're able to respawn and make it happen again. So major props to E6. Still up by 1 possession, 2 overall points. Cade ends up dropping near middle. Would be great if Cloud9 could at least get maybe a 1-point toss on the board. And this is their opportunity to do it. Player number 2 toward the back. General trying to fire away forward, and that drone is going to get knocked in. I believe that one was by Ricky. So big points there coming in at the end. Lacefield ends up dropping in toward middle, so a potential last second score. Can Proto go for the buzzer beater? Tries to use that back shield, but it's not going to work. General not going to be in a position to make that scoring opportunity happen. So at the first half, it will be E6 with a lead. It will be a very small lead at that, 4-3. And throughout that, major portion of that game, I think what we were really seeing throughout most of the time was that we were seeing a lot of great moments from E6. I mean, they were constantly, not really spawn trapping Cloud9, but they're continually getting 3, getting 4 down. And they're making a lot of different pushes happen. But that's the side that they were on. It's a very difficult side that they were on, despite having a lead after that. But you see Cloud9 only having 2 opportunities at that drone portal. And since they were able to counter on that twice, it ends up working out. But this is what I talk about, being on that China side. I talked about at the beginning of the game, you can easily get a very early break if you play your cards right. And Proto, despite playing his cards right, all of his teammates drop. He isn't currently back alley. And if he can maybe get at least 1 kill, he could have made a scoring opportunity happen. At least he's able to delay some time, and now Cloud9 through that back gas station side is going to have to make a push. He's getting a little bit over-aggressive. He's going to have his life be paid for that. Kills being exchanged. Assault being a good carrier for that. Big win there from Lacefield. This should be a 2-point play. Most likely the overextension getting ready to come in. Player number 4, the last player to contest this one, but it's not going to matter. The kills come in, and Cloud9 automatically and already take the lead after not even a minute ticking down in the second half. Cloud9 backs against the wall. Potential last 4 minutes of their 2K run so far. Last 2K heading into MLG Dallas. A lot residing and on the line, as both these teams have desperately clutched up in positions where they really needed to. Only so many spots allowed for NA teams at Dallas. I believe 9 overall, top 9 in pro points. Get placed into pools. Both these teams are kind of on the bubble heading into this 2K tournament, and obviously proven and showed the grit that they needed to get here. The toss coming in, that one nearly ends up going through. The bounce not going to be enough. However, though, tie game 5-5. Can Cloud9 bring this one back is the question. 2 end up dropping. General now looking over toward that statue side. Needs to find this kill. Not able to make it happen. And Proto, the main objective man throughout the game, has been carrying the bomb quite a bit. How about the ball for this game? How about the kills? How about the K-bar? But ends up dropping in that particular exchange. FTL jump gets rocked, but is it worth it? Not necessarily in that particular play, but thankfully you do get the FTL jump pretty quick. Drew now going to be in the position of Ricky, trying to stay alive over here toward construction. Unable to make that one happen for too long. As Assault finds 3, one of them being his teammate, unfortunately. And General's able to find that one. A big kill there coming in from General. Is going to stop that push for the time being. Player number 4 is going to be the only man to contest this one for the time. He needs to try to at least delay for as long as he possibly can. Finds one, finds the second. Big kills there coming in from Cade, but regardless, the upload, aka the toss, will come in from Assault. And now it will be 6-5 in favor of Cloud9. We talked about their struggles in Uplink coming into the 2K, really coming in from Atlanta, from ESWC. Even at Vegas, despite having a fantastic run, placing second at that tournament. Just losing to Rise Nation. They really struggled in their Uplink games, constantly been going. I think they went to, except for one series, all of those went to Game 5, and a lot of those came from their Uplink losses, where they've seemed to kind of rebound from that. And Ricky goes for the toss. That one's going to go through. Nice shot there coming in from Ricky Grennan. All of them will trade their lives for it, but it'll be a worthy transition in the end. As General and the boys need to try to bring this one back if they want a 3-0 sweep, if they want to have a lot of momentum coming into Dallas. This would be the time to grab it. Proto, drone in hand, has no one to kind of watch over him for the time being. Really just kind of waiting, wasting some time through middle map. Some shots being exchanged through that back alley. Player over inside a ticket. Gonna get tagged up, but Proto's the one who gets bagged. Zero holding that angle through the backside. Now, when it comes down to this current point we're in at the game, we're obviously minute and 15 remaining in the second half. We talk about the major payloads to be looking at. Players with your overdrive and your active camo can definitely be huge factors when it comes down to who ends up winning this game. And I believe I end up just seeing the trophy drone, or excuse me, not the trophy drone, but the Centurion actually get rocked and put on the point. So that's going to be pretty big, kind of acts as a permanent jammer grenade when you're near it. And Assault just put that one on their portal. So that's going to be pretty difficult if E6 wants to go for those 2-point plays. But speaking of payloads, close engagements now. General needs to win this one. Not able to make it happen. I believe the reactive armor gets rocked there from Lacefield in that particular exchange. But those overdrive, those active camo players, how can they be so influential in this game? Cade, I believe the one with overdrive, needs to be the man to make the play happen, but he needs the slang to be around him. Only 30 seconds left to work with. Drone set in middle map. Nice shots are coming in from Cade. And here comes the overdrive. Needs to try to make a kill happen, but a big one there from Aches. He's able to find 2. Ricky has the overdrive for himself, but General might have escaped. He needs to stay alive, but he's not going to make it happen, and it seems that Cloud9 are going to at least force the game number 4. Aches with the active camo just trying to stay alive. Pretty risky play to be near his portal, but it's not going to matter. E6 realizes it. The overdrive gets shut down thanks to the nice push there from Aches at the end. And this series is not done yet. Cloud9 win the uplink 7-5. And a major slaying contribution there coming in from Lacefield, 28 and 22. 1 carry to his name. Proto, though, despite having a major portion in the objective, you can see 15 and 24. Can't give him too much flack, obviously, due to the support play that he ended up making. But General, 32 and 24. That's about the major MV4 play coming into this particular map. And he's showing why the MV4 range for both teams. We'll see how this one does line out. Expect to see a lot of flechettes. And I believe, yeah, as usual, Ricky going to be rocking that trophy drone. Can definitely play huge dividend when it comes down to this map. As you can see, it already comes into play. Plus 25. Already earning a little bit of score to that payload. That quickly gets dropped. 3 down. Off the start here from Cloud9. Assault trying to hold the line toward the back, but it's not going to last for too much longer. As it will be Cloud9 who are in current possession for that next hill. When it comes down to that next hill, those are, in some cases, considered the money hill for Scorch. So a lot of E6's overall thought process to try to flip the spawns. I believe they've just done that. So major play coming in from E6. They've not even dropped a point as of yet, but the 2-piece nade coming in there from Aches is going to make me bite my tongue for the time. Going a little bit of a flank right now is Aches. These are some big gunfights that if he can maybe at least win one of these, maybe have some teammate support, it could be big. Trying to be behind enemy lines as Aches finds one coming from that last hardpoint. Trying to stay up as they will be granted the scrap seconds. So despite a great start from Enigma 6, they focus their eyes toward that next hill. Of course, over here in Turbine, but this is the money hill. If you can lock down spawns, lock down rotations, it can grant your team a lot of free time, and Cloud9 have actually broken this one. They break the hill, but E6 not trying to get in that vice grip early on. And Ruiz gets great timing there actually on. Ricky finds one, finds the second, and just like that, the reverse break now. Coming in from the side of E6, they get those back hallway spawns, and now they're making Cloud9 start to pay for them, as they're not going to be in a position right now to try and trade this one. You see Lacefield switching over to that E-Rad. Close quarter map is Scorch. Not at all unwarranted to see him rocket. Nice win there over on Cade. As the break starts to come through, Aches finding 2 big kills. 1 player last alive that it's going to be General. Can he contest any of this time? He will for a moment, but Control going to go back over toward Cloud9. You can start to see them realizing, hey, most likely we're not going to see any pushes happen over toward the scrap seconds. Aches will be granted those, and now our attention will be turned over toward Hangar. E6 starting to try and develop a nice setup here. It looks like they're going to have every angle covered. Side door. Looks like they've got bottom as well as their backside spawn controlled as well. And Cade is a big portion. He needs to stay alive here because if not, the spawns can easily be flipped. He's also got to provide some cover fire for his teammate over inside of bottom. Assault able to find 1 player toward the back. This is a big gunfight that Cade needs to win, but he's not able to make it happen. Lacefield walks away with it, and he's smart to back up because that's going to grant his team the spawns. He finds the kill. 1 player toward the back is going to be, I believe, General. Proto drops. General's here for the trade. In that big gunfight toward the back, General ends up trading Lacefield. Is now going to grant his team the time and a little bit of a lead. This is not at all dumb. It's not really an odd idea for E6 to try to push this one out. Or excuse me, Cloud9 to push this one out. Lacefield's going to do that one, but in the end, it will be a trade 1. As Ruiz not going to be in a position to trade off of that respawn. So now it looks like we will go ahead and make a Rotation here over toward Drill. Pretty hectic hill when it comes down to it. Not at all a money hill. Pretty heavily contested. Proto trying to hold toward that middle map. Ends up having his life be traded. Trying to be aware of that potential pinch that could come in easily. Laceville being a little bit aggressive. Realizes there's a player actually behind him and is able to find that one on General. Tries to turn for the second, but he's not able to make it happen. E6 getting closer and closer to that 100-point mark. A couple players over inside of observation deck trying to make any noise they possibly can. Assault can be on the other side of the crates. Actually, he ends up getting shot. I'm not sure how that ends up going through, but regardless, nice shots there coming in from E6. General, the main slayer, put that first hard point. Really the respawns. He's been the man of the match. The highlight man, at least as far as the score is considered. He's continuing to do that. He's sitting at 11-8. And Ruiz, though, sitting at 8-5. On a 4-speed, now make it a 5. He's going to earn that scare, but getting closer and closer to that Trinity rocket. And when it comes down to the right hill, that can easily grant you a nice bit of points, but it looks like he is going to drop. So a massive nade there coming in from Ricky. I'm not sure if he realizes that player was on a potential streak run. But regardless, it's going to work out for them in the end. So, of course, the first set of rotations are done with. As we focus our eyes and our guns back here toward bridge. Hectic gunfights, but like I said, that rotation towards second hill is incredibly important. H6 did a great job at rotating, kind of being aware that they can flip the spawns that easily. And here comes the pinch from them. And once they get this kill through, they're going to try to find these kills on the backside of the hill. And if they can make this happen, they're going to easily do their best to try to get and reverse those spawns. We'll see if it actually works out for them. It looks like it has. So they've officially flipped the spawns. They're now in their favor, and it really wouldn't be a bad idea for me if we start to see Cloud9 maybe force a few players through hallway, or even toward that right side over on Drill from Ruiz's perspective. Looks like they're going to force a lot of attention through that middle side. There's a lot of hectic gunfights starting to go down, and E6 have been granted a lot of time. They got a lot of seconds when it came down to that middle hill. And they're also now going to have Turbine in their favor. E6 is in a great spot. Cloud9 desperately needs to get a break here soon, because if not, this one could easily start to get out of hand. With Ruiz finding that one over on X, it's going to be a 3 versus 4 break that they're going to have to make. Nice hold there. Bleed from Cade as he finds yet again another kill, trying to be aware of that wall run. There's going to be one player here for the trade, but trade after trade after trade, E6 will win that particular team fight. They continue to get closer to that 200-point mark, trying to be aware of that wall run. E6 doing a great job at holding those head glitches. But can Cloud9 finally get a break? Laceville needs to be aware of the player on his left. 2 versus 1 gunfight, and it looks like it's going to go in their favor. So with that in mind, looks like player number 3, last player going to be General. He is going to drop, so much needed time for Cloud9, but it's not enough time. It's really not enough time at all, as they're barely going to get and reach that 100-point mark, while E6 is nearly at the 200. And rotations are beginning to come in. Big gunfights starting to happen. Assault's already here on the rotation, but there's a player right behind him. And Ruiz rocks one. He's actually going to earn those Trinity rockets, which could be big. Finding those Cloud9 players off of the spawn. And if he can stay alive here, find those players in the back, he can flip the spawns, actually. Lacefield's going to make him pay for even trying to search out for those. Cade falls. Aches trying to make an impact. Looks like Cloud9 finally getting a little bit of breathing room, as they're going to have to be aware that E6 is starting to push together. They're trying to go for the spawns, at least trying to get a little bit of a team push to happen. General coming from Cave is going to have to back up and try to push this one out with his teammates. A lot of valuable time being awarded. Some points that Cloud9 need to have if they want to at least force the Game 5, or at least be close to forcing the Game 5. He's getting some time to breathe for now. Getting closer to the active camo. Only 150 points, actually, off of that Trinity rocket. You see him rocking the Scorchers as well, instead of going with that Scarab. Maybe even some confident player, just maybe the lack of confidence in his Scarab usage. Regardless, though, he's going to be going on a flank, and the rotation comes here over toward Drill. Spawns can easily flip when it comes down to this hardpoint. We'll see how E6 can manage that. You see the lead blocker's doing a fantastic job. General just trying to find a lot of free seconds for his teammates. Proto pushing out observation deck. Needs to find one, but can't make that one happen. Ricky's able to stay alive for the time being. And needs to have some teammate support. Player coming from the skies actually ends up nearly shooting his teammate in the back, and this one's not even going to work. The FTL jump gets rocked, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't end up going through. General ends up using the reactive arbor to solidify the gunfight, and now E6 is only 30 seconds away from closing out the 2K Grand Finals on a 2 spree. As Cade and General combined as Cloud9 desperately need to make something happen with 3 going down. M. Ruiz finding 2, finding 3 of those. It is looking less and less likely. The nails in the coffin, it seems, is E6 finding the last few kills. Constellation kills is all it'll be, because Cloud9 will lose this one in a Game 4 scenario. Streaks at the end, as E6 will close out the 2K Grand Finals, 250 to 140 in map number 4, and winning the series in a 3-1 fashion. We talked about the main slayers throughout this entire match, for this entire series. General finishing that one off 24 and 20. You see a lot of consistent hill time for the E6 side as well. Scorch, a lot about teamwork, a lot of tightly contested, a lot of little gaps that you have to fight through. But overall consistent time for the E6 side. And despite a good push, some good momentum from the uplink that Cloud9 had, it's not able to grant them a victory, or at least to force the game number 5. So with that, guys, that is going to do it for the 2K Grand Finals. Major props to obviously E6 for walking away with the victory, as they were in back-to-back Grand Finals. Don't win that last one versus Optic Gaming, but they're at least able to win this one versus Cloud9. And have to give major props, right? You have to give major props to both these teams for really clutching up when it comes down to the overall pro point, kind of ball that they were on, for the fact of how important this really was. So major props to them. Obviously, GG's to both sides, and I obviously hope that you guys did enjoy the cast. And of course, I want you guys to obviously even tweet at them. Tweet at the guys on E6, tweet at the guys on Cloud9, and say thank you for making this happen, because obviously, like I said, I would love to cast at any point, really. But had it not been for them, this would not be possible. And obviously, major thank you to Aches as well for allowing this to happen on his channel and for allowing me to cast it. So I really do appreciate you guys. Have been a fantastic audience, and you guys have been great. So I'm really not sure what to do up to this point. I'm not sure if I should end the stream, wait for Aches to come in here or what. But I appreciate it. I'm trying to look at this final scorecard. Maybe we have any more talking points to really discuss. I know Ricky was kind of having some issues in the hard points. See, 13 and 23, -10 on this last one when it really mattered most. But you got to give massive credit to E6. Definitely kind of controlled quite a bit throughout this entire game. Really throughout the entire respawns, at the most part. Yeah, guys, I think that's gonna kind of do it for this match. Like I said, I believe that is going to grant. I'm actually gonna see if I can maybe add this up and kind of get a little bit of an idea as to where the pro points are at now. Because of course, when it comes down to the winners, it is a 2K, so each player gets 2K pro points, 8,000 overall. I'm curious to see where that maybe bumps up E6 as far as the top 9 is considered. Of course, getting placed higher and higher in the pro point standings grants you a better spot in pool play. Well, for the most part. It's really just about the top 4, but actually, I don't think I can do that. I don't really think I can do that, just because of the fact that I don't have every other team's additions. But either way, guys, really do appreciate it. I think I'm going to go and kind of close out the stream. Really do appreciate all your guys' support. Thanks for the casting. No problem. Obviously, no problem at all. I know this is kind of last second. It was kind of last second for me. I had no idea that I was going to be doing this, so I know it's kind of thrown together. But I'm going to put it at the top. I'm going to go and update the scoreboard as I should. Not 23. They won. Oh, there we go. E6 1-3-1. Guys, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a fantastic night. And that's going to do it for the stream. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And see you later.